Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Ted Earhart. One of the reasons I got into the financial services industry is I'm just fascinated with financial markets, all the wild and unexpected things that happen somewhat on a regular basis. And of course, what makes it even more fun is once in a while, you might have some special insight into an individual company or an individual industry where a big market movement might offer you a chance to make a profit. Now, that isn't the case in this particular scenario. This is more just a scenario that I find interesting, the wild ride of lumber prices, and I just wanted to share that briefly with you today. So take a look at what happened with lumber prices during the year 2020 into 2021 in relation to the pandemic, of course. So really the short story is when COVID broke out, most lumber producers expected a massive recession and, of course, falling demand for lumber supplies. But as a surprise to them and perhaps everybody, what they ended up getting was a massive boom in lumber demand, basically as a result, of course, of rock bottom 0% interest rates. We had people working from home and therefore naturally wanting to improve their homes. And of course it helped. We had huge fiscal stimulus, all those things. I mean, what a brew of ingredients to just supercharge the demand for lumber products. So obviously that resulted in just a surge in prices. I mean, take a look at this. These are lumber futures, which basically rarely ever exceeded the $500 mark. We saw them well over triple that at the peak just a few months ago, kind of in the mid part of 2021. But there's this old saying when it comes to commodity prices, the cure for high prices is high prices. And why is that? It's, of course, because when prices are up, that creates tremendous incentive for producers to ramp up production to take advantage of those high prices. And that's exactly what we've seen. But in addition, there were lots of reports of hoarding of lumber supplies, lumber inventory by retailers and by even builders themselves. I'm sure partly out of necessity, try to protect themselves against rapidly rising prices going forward even. But of course, I'm sure there was some greed as well. But all those different parties that were hoarding, of course, started to dump their excess inventory as prices collapsed into the summer. And therefore, we've seen just a huge burst of the lumber bubble. So if you've been putting off building that new deck or adding on a garage, whatever the case might be, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you go to your local Home Depot or whatever big retailer it is in your neighborhood. Prices most likely are back down in the range of the pre-pandemic time frame. I think retail prices generally lag a little bit as it compares to wholesale futures, which is what we were looking at. But prices are back down in that local range, so you can probably start thinking about pulling the trigger on whatever project it is you had in mind. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.